and let it, pick up after his dog, and the other person will let his dog poop in front of your
and not
house,
pick it up.
but then get flippant towards you if you say something about it. That's like totally different. They're incompatible.
What I'm saying here is, if we're being honest, as far as black communities and white communities, it's very separate. There's not a lot of black people that live in white neighborhoods, and there's not a lot of, especially there's not a lot of white, there's actually less white people that live in black neighborhoods than there are black people that live in white neighborhoods. This just happens to be a fact. So as far as your definition of black fatigue and how white people are basically tired and they're suffering and they feel overwhelmed out of the negligence that black people is doing. I have many stats too, right? Stats about white people. 75% of incest perpetrators, white people, white men. 65% of prostitution, white men. 65% of pedos, white men. 60% of kidnappers, white men, right? 60% of rapists, white men. 77% of child pornography, white men. So one could say that, well, and this is, the list goes on and on, right? Well, one can say that if you're being very hyper focused on the inadequacies of the black community, one could also say that, well, look at the inadequacies of the white community. Look at the inadequacies of the Spanish community. So when I say that black fatigue is a psyop, it is a psyop, right? Because this is something that has always, the black community has always been, they knew about their inadequacies. And the white community has always known about it too, which is why white people really don't like living in black areas. Well, one, because the black areas just happen to be in a more, in more poverty. But overall, the cultures are just different, just like the cultures are different with the Indians. You don't think that when the Indians, the Arabs come around, you're like, God dang, stop using that curry in autumn seasons, just stinking. They live next to you in a home and the seasonings, the smell is sinking through the walls. You don't think that's frustrating, like the music to the white person?
Man, this shit is amazing. This shit, man, like, I sat there just listening to him like, man, like, bro, you going to season this nigga? There be people shooting behind my house. I take a curry goat. You know what I mean? Over somebody shooting.
It's a bunch of office station. It's a what about them?
John.
It's always what about somebody else.
And Paris is always what about them? Always. Like there's no, you can't even discuss properly with people. Like, what about? I'm like, oh.
It's always what a 5-year-old says. That's exactly what every 5-year-old. John, what does your kid say? Yeah. What about them? They're doing it.
Well, that's the development of the black mind. John, there's no difference between Cooley and Stanley. He's a younger, modern version of Stanley. He pro-blacks on the internet and lives white in real life. As close as he can. Because he can't be white. And Pierre's
bro, he looks like the type that dates white. Bro, he looks like the type to date white women now.
He has a white woman and she's pregnant right now. Let's just stop.
No way. No,
let me pull the photo up. I'll pull it up right now.
Somebody pull it. Let me play some more of this video then while University pull up, man. If this man I want to get all this in case he take this shit down, okay?
Think about it. I'll truly be honest here. I used to go to my friend's house. He lived next to an Arab. His house, his apartment used to smell just like the Arab's house because the Arab used so much seasoning where it was sinking through the walls and everything and stinking up his clothes. I used to go to like, God dang, man, you're not Indian. What's going on here? So that's the same with the loud music too. I say all of that to say that there's many different complaints that people have in communities. But to say that there's black fatigue, but there isn't any other fatigue, is silly.
Well, here's what I mean, right? As you say, your friend lived next to Arab. and he dealt with the spices. You can mitigate it. You can let your window up. You can spray some air freshener, burn a candle. I was on strike.
I don't know about that. When they sink into the clothes, man, you got to do some laundry.
I bet you did a lot. I bet that's true, but I bet you did a lot of white people go to Indian restaurants. They probably keep them afloat. They immerse themselves in the food of other cultures. But I was streaming one day and I heard bullets. I'm like, yeah, I better, get out of the way in case a bullet comes through my back door. And that is a thing that I think will cause fatigue. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. Right next door to me, and I live in the ghetto in Washington, D.C. There's a house for rent from next door to me, $3,500. $3,500. I would bet you that most of your audience can't afford that or wouldn't pay it in this neighborhood.
You're talking about in New York, right?
No, I'm talking about in Washington, D.C.
Oh, Washington, D.C., okay.
In Southeast D.C., if anyone is familiar. And so here we are, $3,500 for a rent house next door to me in the ghetto. What explains that? You have any idea what explains that?
You can make your point. Go ahead.
Well, so what would explain it is that the government will pay landlords. It's an inducement to rent to black people. The only way landlords will do it, people like me, is if you pay me a lot of money. So what I do is I convert the whole house into bedrooms so I get the maximum amount of Section 8. Well, what does that do to the person who works a regular job? It forces them out to the county, Prince George's County. What does that do to the Prince George's County people who don't want to live around the guys who would have rented from me? They move further out and take their problems with them to white counties, the white county, and turn it black and bring their black demands and issues with them. Okay. And it's like the pipeline of the black fatigue, in that no one wants to live around blacks. No one will be honest and say it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. No one. Got it. So let's just use this logic, right? No one wants to live around blacks, and because coming.
I didn't know that was going to stop the video, John. Sorry about that.
I put it back up.
He has a white kid. Yeah, exactly. That people were ragging on him about this online.
I didn't want to get this in case he take it down. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. Pull it back up. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just want to get in case he take it. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay. What about if you own some property in maybe some parts of Alabama where there's white trailer park people and they're ghetto and it's very impoverished area and they're not doing so good? Do you think that you'll experience a lot of complaints and a lot of negativity from tenants in certain poor areas? Poor areas.
Well, clearly I can't say it, but I will say that some of the things I've seen, I've seen people, again, I saw some 50-year-old men.
Just answer. Can you answer that?
I don't think so. I don't think
you don't. Okay, you don't think so. Well, the thing is,
I'm from Alabama. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The thing is this, right? I understand what you're saying. I think it's twofold. I think that when it comes to, this fatigue and people being tired of experiencing these maybe inadequacies, these whatever it may be, right? These complaints, they're complaining because of certain people and different demographics. It comes with two reasons. It's culture, and then it has to do with income, right? So if people, like, the thing is, when you're looking at it on the internet, because a lot of people speak about this white people speak about this black fatigue on the internet, most of these people that are speaking about black fatigue, they don't even live in black communities. They're not even around black people to experience to have these negative experiences when it comes to black people, right? Most of them haven't. It's just trendy right now, and it's something that's cool to say, which is the reason why I'm saying it's a psyop. Now, with you, you're speaking about specific things that you're dealing with anecdotally, right? That's fine and dandy. I'm not going to, have an argument against your anecdotal experience, but you still choose, as a landlord, you still choose to purchase homes and rent to people in certain areas where you know that there's going to be black people, where you know that there's going to be different cultures mixing, where you know that there's going to be some tension. So this is why I asked you, do you think that you would experience these same type of problems if you rented out if you purchased a home and rented it out where it was in a white area where the community was very poor? It was a white, poor town. Do you think that you would still have these complaints with other races living in that white, poor town, or just amongst white people themselves?
All right, let me explain it by saying this. So you contrast it with a white poor town, you say, in inner city. Okay, so here's the thing. So in a white poor town, there aren't many government protections if they don't pay their rent, right?
Wait, time out. You said that in a white poor town, there aren't any government protections if they don't pay their rent?
The way they are in the inner cities. If you try to evict someone in DC legally, you're talking about a 2-year process, right? So the lowest of the low, the dregs of society know this. Inherently, they know this.
Okay, well, that's that's in DC, right? So it's going to be different depending on what county and what state you're in. You know what I mean? That's going to be different. Okay. But you didn't really answer my question though.
Well,
and
I can't really answer that one because I'm not white. I've never dealt with white poor trash in Alabama. It's 10.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you. So here's the thing. Once again, you're coming from a landlord perspective, and we're speaking about things that's very anecdotally and specific to your situation, right? Like I said, this is the things that you're going through as a tenant, and you can see that. Well, I get a lot of complaints from my white tenants, and
I'm muted. Damn. Does anybody really believe this guy really believes his shit?
Oh, he's just like freaking Sharon, dude.
Yeah, he babbled too much. I zoned out, Imperius. I zoned out. I'm like, what is he talking about?
Saying it because them defending it makes other simps that are watching pay him to keep defending and acting this way and repeating this shit. It's all a facade, John. They're playing characters. Like, John, I admit I'm playing like partially a character. It's just me leveled up to 10. But like the thing is like these people go out there and act like, oh, well, I'm legitimately like this on my everyday life. That I believe these things and I actually.
But these people, like, I didn't know he had a white girlfriend. Doesn't really matter to me, but I do find it interesting considering. And then he's he probably lives in a white neighborhood. And here he is trying to defend these people he's run from. That's what I do not understand. Why the need to defend them?
That's the audience.
Yeah, it's the audience. That's the grift. That is the grift.
Even your chat saying he's a grifter, he's been a millennial. Yeah, we can all see it.
That's the grift.
It is true that the black tenants that I have, they be negligent. They be wilding out. They're not really considerate of the people that they're living next to, as white people are. I get that, right? And once again, this would be because of culture, and culture is the values that you have within the culture, and that it would also be with the income level of where you're living at as well. Like how much money people are making. If they're living in poverty, then it's like, with poverty comes more negligence, comes more crime, comes more stuff like that. That's normally what happens, right? The point.
See, I could have interrupted and said, no, poverty doesn't necessarily breed crime, but you have to let these people go.
What I want to get to is the whole black fatigue thing, which is a myth, right? Because once again, if it's just complaints, all people have complaints. And I would say black people for white people, I would say we have more complaints. I would say this, white people told us, stop complaining. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop complaining. You're not a victim. Think about it. This means that Black people been suffering fatigue. Like, whether if it was real or some of it was mental, which is the victim mindset, right? Which I am totally opposed of the victim mindset. I think that those Black people need to overcome that state of mind because it's not conducive